right, well, what we have here is a nice Skil saw, Skil jigsaw, and what had happened is this guy had been left in a wheelbarrow under a tarp. The wheelbarrow filled up with water. Obviously, this thing got wet, and it no longer works. You can see that it looks in good shape, and I kind of suspect that the wiring in here is all good, and the only thing that's happened is this thing has rusted together. So I'm going to take it apart and see if that is in fact this case. But one of the things I did to check that was, you can see a little gear right inside of here, and that should rotate in a circle, and it doesn't rotate for nothing, which means that it's locked up pretty tight. There was a lot of pieces outside of here that was rusted. I've already cleaned those up, and that hasn't made any difference at all, so obviously I need to take it apart and look inside. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is removing all of these screws out of here with this Torx 20, and after I get all of those done, I'll need to take off these two guys right here. It looks like a little flathead to get those off, and the reason I need to take those off is because there's a couple of more screws behind here, behind this plate here, that I need to remove as well before this whole half will come up. If you leave it flat, we should be able to pry this whole thing apart and pull this whole half up all in one piece, and then we should have access to the insides. I'll film a little bit in a little while here. Yeah, I'm not done. I probably this thing's probably toast, but it got wet, and I pulled this whole thing out, and what was jammed was the stator and rotor here were welded together by rust. So I've cleaned it up. I tapped it with the end of this end here with a hammer, then knocked it free, so I was able to get it apart. And now I'm trying to put this whole thing together after I've cleaned up the stator and rotor. Now this whole thing may blow up in my face, which I hope not too. That's my plan, is it not doing that. But I got to get it all back together now, and we'll see if that makes a difference, that I actually save this unit.
What is this thing?
It's my
Jigsaw?
Jigsaw, yeah. Okay, you can turn that off. Okay, well, earlier I couldn't do this at all, no matter how hard I reefed on it. I could probably put a wrench on it and not been able to make this thing turn at all. So it turns now, but hopefully the motor isn't burnt up, and hopefully it doesn't get burnt up from all the grease and oil that's gotten everywhere. So anyways, we'll see here in a little bit. Anyways, we'll see if it smokes. We let the smoke out of this thing here in a little bit, but I'm going to put it back together now and see if I still have a working unit. Now you can stop. Okay, well, I'm putting the last screws back in. Everything's back together, and the best part about it is there's no extra parts, so I put everything back where it's supposed to go. So we'll see here shortly, as soon as I get all of these final screws screwed together. Not that I need to see this thing operate, but if it blows up, then I'm gonna have to throw it away anyways. And I'm really good at hoarding, so as long as the pieces are on here, they all go with it. Otherwise, I'll try to save some of the stuff here and have it lying out here forever and never use it. Okay, well, that's the last screw, and now go plug it in. Moment of truth here. Okay, got a nice circuit breaker at GSCI, just in case it shorts out. This whole thing is protected, so. And it works. And no sparking. Done.
You're the man.